This program was brought to you by Organo Gold. Organo Gold is a health and wellness company that provides healthy coffees, teas, and chocolate. All one has to do is consume the available coffee, teas, chocolate, and other products to get all the available benefits. One can also share these products with others to help them improve their health as well.
And now, Fairfax Breakfast Club with your host, Besile Lemba.
Welcome to the Fairfax Breakfast Club show. My name is Besile Lemba and I will be your host. The Fairfax Breakfast Club is a weekly program in which we bring to you valuable and workable know-how you can use to improve your networking skills and grow your business. We always start the show with a quote. And today's quote is, I love creating partnerships. I love not having to bear the entire burden of the creative storytelling. And when I have unions like with George Lucas and Peter Jackson, it's really great. Not only do I benefit, but the project is better for it. And that is from Steven Spielberg. With us today in the studio, we have someone who serves in the Fairfax County Office of Public-Private Partnerships. I've known him for years now, and I can vouch that he works tirelessly at bringing together the county and the private sector so they can work together to create a better community. So I introduce to you Vance. Hello, Vance.
Hello, Besile. Thank you for inviting me.
My pleasure. Way overdue, huh?
Well, that's okay. Better late than never, as they say, right?
That is correct. So tell us, Vance, what you do at the Office of Partnership.
Well, what I do is I'm a partnership developer. Mm-hmm. And what that means is that I'm one of the connectors between the government sector, the private sector, and the nonprofit or community sector. Mm-hmm. So I bring those sectors together to identify community needs and try to address them.
Okay. Since how long have you been doing that?
I've been with this office since 1999. Mm-hmm. It used to be called the Office of Partnerships, mm-hmm. and we had partnerships that we developed and actually operated, like the Medical Care for Children Partnership, which is the safety net program for children who don't have insurance. However, we've transformed into the Office of Public-Private Partnerships, or what we call OP3, in 2008. And what we do is we initiate, we catalyze the partnerships, and then we have one of the partners take it over. So it's a different road. Yeah, we started, or we help move it along mm-hmm. to the point where it's sustainable. And then we might be in a consulting role at that point.
Gotcha. Very good, very good. And you have an extensive story of working the community, and you're now on board of the Asian American Chamber of Commerce, but you also have been with the McLean Chambers and different other organizations. And you have even gotten different awards for your work in the community.
I have always been, one who's valued the community, so mm-hmm. I want to try to find ways to give back to the community. Mm-hmm. And I just happen to be in a very fortunate position in the government that allows me to go into the community to bring everybody together to solve community needs.
Mm-hmm. I have a question, Vince.
Sure.
What drives you?
That's a very good question. I think it's just who I am. Just part of who I am. When I grew up in Southern California, mm-hmm. I was involved in Boy Scouts. Mm-hmm. I'm an Eagle Scout. Mm-hmm. So to be an Eagle Scout, you have to do a service project in the community for your Eagle project. And, we did various projects in the community over time. Mm-hmm. I also got involved with an organization in high school called the Interact Club, mm-hmm. which is the high school club that Rotary International and Rotary clubs sponsor, individual Rotary clubs. Mm-hmm. So in my high school, Pacific High School, I was actually the president of my Interact Club senior year. Mm-hmm. And we were in the community doing some good work. So it's just part of who I am.
DNA?
Yeah, DNA. Absolutely, it's in my fiber.
We very much appreciate very much what you do, honestly and sincerely.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
I thank you for
I enjoy
that.
it. I enjoy it very much. And when we moved here to Fairfax in 1997, I was very fortunate to really get heavily involved in the community. Started with Rotary. In fact, I wasn't even living in Virginia at the time. I was my wife and I were living in Wheaton, Maryland. So my job was in McLean, so I commuted. The florist who was in the building where I worked, I walked in because I wanted to buy some flowers for my grandmother for her birthday, and I see a plaque on her wall with a Rotary emblem on it, and I said, "Oh, you're a Rotarian." And I used to be in the Interact Club. So that was in 1994, and so I joined, and I've been a Rotarian for over 20 years.
Wow.
It's a great organization.
Definitely.
It really is.
Very good. That's excellent.
Yeah. So anyways, it was through Rotary that I got involved in a lot of other activities. First in McLean, since that's where the Rotary Club was, but now it's been more countywide.
Gotcha.
And I was fortunate enough in 1998, Alice Starr, who was the past chairman of the McLean Chamber, came up to me and said, there's a possibility there's a job in the county government that would allow you to be an advisory council manager for these private partners who work on this medical care for children partnership. What do you think of that? And I said, it sounds like a great opportunity, because again, it would allow me to actually work in the public sector but be in the private sector, trying to help them grow that partnership. And so from 1999 on, it's been a wonderful ride. So I'm working on various projects now. So
very good, very good. That's great. Fairfax County is known as doing it very well compared to, I mean, it's always one of the top 2 or 3 counties in the country.
yes, it is. And we were fortunate to have a county executive who really believed in public-private partnerships. So he created this office back in 1998, before I arrived. And then the county executive, Tony Griffin, who recently retired, he was very much into public-private partnerships.
That's a very smart initiative.
It is. It is. We're not the only ones that do it, but I think we're on the cutting edge of a lot of different things. So, for example, Stuff the Bus, I think you know about, which we started 5 years ago because MV Transportation is our contractor who provides the bus drivers for our Fast Tran bus service. And they came to us basically asking how they could help collect food for the hungry people. This was in 2010, during our big recession. The need was great then. They came to us at holiday time and wanted to do something then, and we basically met with them and said, the Boy Scouts are collecting, everybody seems to be collecting right now. Why don't we find a time during the year when no one's doing it, because that would be the greatest impact. It turns out that once those holidays are over and their pantries are somewhat depleted, they need the support until the springtime when some other big food drives take place. So January, Martin Luther King weekend to President's Day weekend, for the past 5 years, we've done this drive, and basically here's what it involves. First of all, the Neighborhood and Community Services Department, who owns the buses, the Fast Tran buses, and also oversee the bus drivers. The 3 of us get together and discuss how we're going to do this. My part in this was to bring the grocery stores on board. The way this works is the bus actually shows up on a Saturday. In fact, we've gotten to the point where we do 2 or 3 events on a Saturday at a giant. We've also done it at Shoppers, Walmart, Bloom. But basically, the bus shows up to the grocery store. And then the nonprofit who's selected, and we have a selection process for the nonprofits who have the food pantries, they in turn do the promotion in the community and get the volunteers to help at the grocery stores. So the customers who come on that Saturday, they go in and find out about the food drive. They might want to pick up an item, and then they can stuff the bus. So the first year we did this, we collected 20,000 pounds of food. And about, I want to say about $1,000, because some people said, I don't have time. How about if I just give you money instead? Well, this past winter, we collected almost 34,000 pounds of food and nearly $8,000.
Wow.
And the drive itself over the 5 years has been over 110,000 pounds during that time, and about $12,000. The reason why this is such a successful effort is, first of all, the stores love it, because obviously they're getting a bump in their sales. But they also see it as community service too, because they're providing the space for us to have the bus. And in fact, they're actively involved helping us sort. They actually sometimes will provide us some food from the employees. So they do give back somewhat, but they also see it as a good business opportunity for them. The nonprofits love it because the way the food drive works is we ask them in advance for a list, a targeted list, not just anything. And a lot of these items, when you think about it, are things that aren't covered by SNAP, or formerly food stamps, like paper products. You can't imagine how many families need paper towels, napkins, diapers, things like that aren't covered through those benefits. So, when you think about it, a lot of people tend to give cans, which weigh a lot. In this case, it's a variety of things.
Got it.
And I will tell you, laundry detergent is one of those items that's in great need, and that does weigh a lot. So, there's a balance here.
But it's also a prime, highly valuable item.
Yes.
You
Yes.
can have some food, true, but also you have cleaning that takes place in the house. You need laundry to make that happen.
Exactly. And babies need diapers. Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's been a very successful effort. We would love to have the day come when we don't have hungry in Fairfax County. I'm hoping someday that the nonprofits will say, we thank you very much for your service, and we don't need to have the bus come anymore.
No longer exists,
Yeah, we would love that to happen, and hopefully someday it will.
Okay. Very good.
So that's one of the major initiatives we've worked on. Another one I'll tell you about is Collect for Kids. And this came about because the school system, well, there are two entities that came to us. First was the school system, because, again, this was also a time of great need. And they were finding out that the number of students going on free and reduced lunch was skyrocketing. And I'll tell you, this year, over 50,000 students of the 170,000 are on free and reduced lunch. It's about 27% or so. It's a large number.
That's a big number.
It is.
What is the reason for that?
We have a lot of service sector families that are working, 1-2 jobs, and they need to do that on an ongoing basis, and yet they still don't. They might only have enough for their rent or to buy food, and so they don't have money to buy backpacks. They don't have money to buy school supplies. So Collect for Kids came about. Like I said, the school system came to us because of this demand. Well, there's also a very great organization in the Reston area called Kids Are First. And they've been doing this backpack school supplies drive for a number of years. This is a retired school teacher, Susan Unger, who started it. And at the time before Collect for Kids started, I think she was about at 12,000 kids a year that her organization was covering. Well, because of Collect for Kids now, she's getting close to 20,000 just with Kids Are First. Now, we also have the Fire and Rescue Department involved. I don't know if you know Captain Willie Bailey, but you should have him on your show, because Firefighters and Friends to the Rescue does a very, very large backpack and school supplies drive on Route 1 at Station 11 at Pendaw Station. And he covers somewhere between 2,000 and 3,000 children, a lot of them on the Route 1 corridor, but some even towards Bailey's Crossroads and throughout the county. So the fire department is also a big player. And then there are several other nonprofits, and some of them are the same nonprofits that also are food providers that provide families with food. They also they have a backpack and school supplies drive. So Collect for Kids is actually going on right now. The nonprofits are actually sending out letters to the schools to find out how much need there is at the schools. Now, we don't have every school covered yet, so we're actually looking for businesses and actually other organizations like Rotary Clubs, Kiwanis Clubs, service organizations, women's too, Zonta, that would be interested in maybe helping us cover some children at a school they support. So the goal here is twofold, really. One is, with all the organizations involved, we want to increase the efficiency of how these are distributed, because we want to make sure there's no duplication.
Gotcha.
So that we want to cover first. The second, obviously, the goal is we want to make sure every child goes to school with a backpack full of supplies and is ready to go. And we find that it's working. It's just we need to keep building the capacity for that program.
So to get a hold of you, the website there?
Yeah, it's collectforkids.org.
Collectforkids.org.
Yes, yes. So someone can go on the website and see all the different partners already involved. They can even see some of the schools that are being covered. There's a map function that we're working on right now that eventually people will be able to go on and see the school where it might be nearby their business and see who's covering it already. And if it's already being covered fully, they might want to do one a little further away from their business. But we are trying to be, again, the efficiency part is very important to make sure that we're covering kids completely, but only once.
Gotcha, makes sense. That's important.
Yes, that's very, very important.
No doubt about it. Otherwise, you have duplication and lessen your effort, and doesn't slow the program.
Exactly.
And it's going to become like a kind of waste, and not a waste, but just not very effective.
Exactly.
You also have a very hot potato now on your table.
I do.
Tell us about it.
The 2015 World Police and Fire Games.
Okay.
How this all came about, and hopefully we have the time, a police officer, Bruce Bleckel, and a firefighter, Jerome Williams, were competing at these games for a number of years. Well, they finally met each other, I believe it was in Stockholm, Sweden in 1999 when it was held there. Now, these games are held every 2 years. So it's in Fairfax this year, it's going to be in Montreal, Canada next year, and then, or not next year, 2 years from now, and then in 4 years is in China. We don't know where it's going to be in 2019. It's going to be announced at these games.
Gotcha.
So it may come back to the U.S., it may go to Europe, we really don't know, but that decision hasn't been made, or it's
confidential.
Confidential at this point.
All right.
So anyways, they got together in Sweden and wanted to bring the games here. So over a 9 or 10 year period, they started putting together a proposal. And I will tell you, Visit Fairfax, which is our tourism board here, they actually worked with them to put together a bid. And that bid was actually submitted, I don't know how long ago, but I will tell you that the first time they submitted the bid, that bid was given to Belfast in 2013. So Fairfax didn't win out the first time. But then at Vancouver in 2009, it was announced that Fairfax County would get it. Okay. And this is the first time a county has gotten it. It's been cities that get it. So this is a very different situation. We have a county here with cities within, but they're independent. So the county itself has gotten the rights to these games. But to be quite honest with you, this is such a large event that it's really regional. We're talking 12,000 athletes, over 12,000 athletes, competing in 61 different sports in over 50 venues. The London Olympics that happened this last time had 10,500 athletes, and they're a little over that. And that was a record for the Olympic Games. We have more coming. And I will tell you, do you like watching ice hockey? Yes. Do you like ice hockey? Yeah. There are over 120 teams coming just to play ice hockey. And we've got 4 venues with 8 sheets of ice reserved for that. So there are going to be over 2,000 athletes coming just to play ice hockey.
Wow.
But there's also soccer, there's also track and field. George Mason University is a major venue for this, so 13 of those sporting events are going to be taking place at George Mason. They're also going to have some police and fire related specific events, like the police will have some pistol shooting in addition to regular shooting. They're also going to have a canine event involving their dogs, which I think will be very interesting to watch.
I think so too.
Yeah, and the firefighters have an ultimate firefighter competition, a climbing competition, so it's going to be really exciting. All of these sporting events are free.
Wow. Repeat that, I don't think they hear
all of the sporting events are free, so we would like everyone from this whole area to come out to support all these athletes because they're paying their own way to get here.
I heard that yesterday.
They're paying their own way to get here. So we want everybody to support them. I mean, after all, these are our first responders from here, from the United States, Canada, from all over the world. Over 70 countries represented here.
Wow.
And I was very fortunate when I was a child, well, teenager, I should say. My father, who was a retired firefighter for the city of San Bernardino Fire Department, in 1976 he decided to compete in the California Firefighters Olympics, which still exist actually, but they're statewide. The World Police and Fire Games is 30 years old, so it started in 1985, so this was actually preceding it. Well, anyways, so he took me on an Amtrak train up to San Francisco from San Bernardino, and he competed in badminton and won the silver medal.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I'll always remember that experience, and I think it's great that our first responders can find the way to have this enjoyment because they routinely have very difficult situations that they have to face, and I think sometimes we don't appreciate it enough. So that's why I'm hoping that we can have thousands of people show up to many of these events. I mean, some of them are going to be restricted, like the ice houses will have only certain number of seats. So what they're going to try to do is hand out the tickets as you walk in, and they'll say, sorry, we've reached capacity. But I think there'll be a lot of opportunities, especially with the outdoor events like soccer, baseball, softball, to be able to go out and see them and have a lot of people there.
Very good.
So, but the big event, I will tell you, is going to be the opening ceremonies at RFK Stadium.
Okay.
So
I'm sure it's going to be televised, huh?
Well, I'm hoping so. They're working on the media side of that. Fairfax 2015 was created after they won the games, the rights to the games. It's a 501c3 organization, so a business could actually make a contribution to these games, and it's a charitable donation.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, and there are many ways to do that. They should go to fairfax2015.com to get all the information. And we need volunteers. Speaking of which, we need 4,000 volunteers.
Wow.
I think they have about 3,000 right now. So
they need another 4,000?
They need another 1,000, 1,500 just to make sure, because between now and May, when they start asking those volunteers what kind of commitments they're going to make, there might be some that say they can't do it. So yes, so they're still looking for volunteers. So again, going on fairfax2015.com, they can also look for volunteer opportunities as well.
Okay.
And speaking of which, I was a volunteer for the Olympic Games myself in 1984. And I was in the opening ceremonies, and just the feeling of being there with all of those athletes from all over the world, there's nothing like it.
Gotcha.
You feel like for that moment in time, the world is at peace. Really. And they're all talking, and it's the camaraderie. It's the camaraderie that they're all coming together to have fun and to compete. I just wish we could keep doing that for maybe other professions. Maybe there need to be other professions that create these type of games, because they really bring the world together. They really do.
And the hub is in Reston, am I correct?
What they're calling the Athletes Village.
Really, yeah. Okay.
Although there is one hotel there, the Hyatt, which is going to be the kind of the administrative headquarters for the games. The pavilion next door is going to have a lot of entertainment there, ongoing around the clock. And there's going to be a transportation system set up for those athletes so that they can get to the Athletes Village quite easily and enjoy all the social events that are going to take place there. So yes, the Reston Town Center is going to be the hub of activity for the games, and it should be pretty exciting.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, imagine that you guys have done quite a tremendous amount of work on that event.
Yes, we have. Our main project, or our main work, has been to try to connect the Fairfax 2015 staff who's working on the corporate outreach, to give them the contacts we have, because a number of them are great at what they do, but they're not from the area, so they've asked us to assist them with the contacts we have here, because we work with businesses some on an ongoing basis on many different projects. So that's what we've tried to do for the past, I've been involved with this over 4 years now.
Wow.
And hopefully it's making a difference.
Very good.
Did you enjoy the event last night?
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yes, yes. The Multi-Chamber Alliance, Multicultural Chamber Alliance is coming along, and being the board chair of the Asian American Chamber is interesting, and we're just trying to solidify the foundation, and I'd like to see the whole alliance keep growing.
Okay.
So, and then I know you're with you're heavily involved with the Northern Virginia Black Chamber of Commerce, and we want to make sure you guys grow, and the Hispanic Chamber of Virginia to grow too, and because we need the voice.
Definitely.
I mean, this community is so great because of its diversity.
That's right.
And that's why these games are so exciting, because they're going to come here feeling like, boy, this is a microcosm of the world because of all the cultures represented here. So it's gonna be terrific. And I hope you can make the opening ceremonies.
Definitely, I'll try to. Just folks, with a little bit of luck, come to our breakfast event on April 23rd. We may have a surprise for you there. We have not confirmed that yet. Right.
We're trying to confirm.
Yes, we're working on it. And also, we have an expo coming up on May 22nd. Love to have you there. We have exhibitors and definitely a lot of guests. So those two events, please join us. You can see our website there. The first one, blnbc.com, and the second one, ultbizexpo.com. Thank you very much. See you next time. Bye-bye.
This program was brought to you by Organo Gold. Organo Gold is a health and wellness company that provides healthy coffees, teas, and chocolate. All one has to do is consume the available coffee, teas, chocolate, and other products to get all the available benefits. One can also share these products with others to help them improve their health as well.